Hey folks, Jason Dynison again with another little video to accompany a blog post, and this time the post is about Roth IRA over-contributions. This is probably the number one thing that I see in my practice that affects average people. I do a lot of average person tax returns in my practice. And this is something that catches a lot of people unaware. So let me share my screen. I do have a little PowerPoint. There's just like 4 or 5 slides to walk through what this issue is about. So a lot of unsuspecting people get caught with Roth IRA problems. Like I said in the introduction, this is the number one thing that I see, I think, that affects average people as far as problems on their tax return, even a seemingly simple tax return. There are contribution limits to Roth IRAs, and I think most of us, if you have a Roth IRA, you probably know this, that the limit for 2023 tax year is $6,500 or $7,500, depending on your age. And now this year, 2024, it's gone up by $500. I think probably 100% of people who have a Roth IRA know about this, but there's a problem beyond these limits. There's another limit that comes into play. And I am not going to linger on this chart because it's overwhelming to look at. I don't expect anybody to really make too much heads or tails of this. I'm just going to highlight the very first line, or I guess it would be the first 3 lines here about married filing jointly. And you can see then it goes down, the different filing statuses. If your adjusted gross income when you're married filing jointly is less than $218,000, then you get that full contribution limit. $6,500, $7,500, $7,000, $8,000, depending on what year it is and what age you are. If your income is between $218,000 and $228,000, you get a reduced limit on what you can contribute. And if your income is over $228,000, you get 0 as your allowable contribution. And the same concept applies to people who are single or head of household, where you start to lose the ability to make Roth IRA contributions at $138,000 of income. And note, married filing separately, basically from the first dollar of AGI up to $10,000 of AGI, you start phasing out your ability to make Roth IRA contributions. And once you reach $10,000 of income, you get no contributions if you're married filing separately. I said I wasn't going to go through this entire chart, and then we just did. Hopefully it wasn't that bad, even though this is kind of painful to look at. That's why I use the highlighter so often, is so we can focus our eye on where it should be. Let's move forward and walk through an example here. We'll get the highlighter on again so that we can, again, focus where our eye needs to be. A married taxpayer under the age of 50 filing jointly with $220,000 of AGI. If we recall back to that chart, the AGI threshold, the phase out on contribution starts at $218,000 and runs through $228,000. So that's a $10,000 range. And this taxpayer has income of $220,000. So they are $2,000 into that range, which means they lose 20% of their allowable contribution to a Roth IRA. And when you do the math, which is what is happening down here, let's just go to the bottom line. Their allowable Roth contribution is $5,200. And this is what happens to people who open Roth IRAs. They're throwing money into it, and they know about that overall maximum limit, except there's another restriction involving adjusted gross income. And that's what catches people unaware. So if that taxpayer put in $6,500 into their Roth IRA, they've just made an over deposit or an over contribution of $1,300. And this happens all the time. It is so common. Some of the reasons that come up for over contributions: income increases unexpectedly from one year to the next. That happens a lot. People open a Roth IRA, their income is below the phase out thresholds, and then they get a pay raise. Sometimes they get like a promotion and a substantial increase in pay, or they change jobs and get a substantial increase in pay, and suddenly their income is above the AGI limits. Another one that I see a lot is married filing separately due to income-based repayment on student loans. Remember how ridiculously low the AGI thresholds are for married filing separately with Roth IRAs? I've had clients get caught with this where they have Roth IRAs and they do married filing separately because of income-based repayment on student loans, and they've been putting money into a Roth IRA, and it's not allowed because their AGI is way too high. And then just another thing that happens a lot is people open these things, they do it themselves on some platform somewhere and don't even think about the AGI thresholds. It's probably in the fine print of the stuff you agree to when you open the account, but no one at the platform pays attention or helps you with it. And if you don't pay attention to it, you could get caught with this. I also have seen, though, times where investment advisors have told people, oh, yeah, let's start a Roth IRA and max it out. And the advisor doesn't check on what your adjusted gross income is. That has happened multiple times as well. So over contributions are not the end of the world. They really are not. But they do need fixed. Otherwise, you have to pay a penalty equal to 6% of the over contribution. By the way, sometimes people ask on this, does this apply to Roth 401k contributions? The answer is no. These restrictions apply to Roth IRAs that you open. There are no income restrictions on Roth 401k deferrals in a 401k plan through your employer. So that's it for this time around. Thanks so much, and join us again next time. Have a great day.